Brad Levitt, president of AFT Construction. Thank you for tuning into our YouTube channel today that is catered to builders, designers, architects, and honestly any small business owners. So make sure you hit that subscribe button below and give us any comments for any topics you want us to address. So one of the best questions we received from our listeners was, when you hire GC, what are you getting for the money? And that's one of the best questions we've had, because it's really important for homeowners to understand the value of a GC, or I should say at least a good GC that understands construction, scheduling, and really the technical side of contracting. So, it's a lot of people say, I'm going to build my own home or manage the process myself. Well, there's an element to that. When you're building a home, there's an element to the leadership side, which has to do with the coordination and communication and scheduling, everything that goes into the flow of construction to make sure you have the right people showing up at the right time. And that is a big time commitment to ask, because you have to have someone that's constantly following up to make sure everyone's on site. Then you have the purchasing side of things. So you have the contracting, you have to order material. A lot of things in construction are long lead times, right? Doors and windows, cabinetry, hardware, some of these things that take a long time. And especially now with the current pandemic, we have delays in a lot of specialty metal finishes and appliances, air conditioning units, so all these things are back ordered. So how do you manage that to make sure you have the product in hand? Especially, tile alone, we're here in the shower room of one of our customs, and sometimes we'll have a tile product that could be a 16-week lead time, as well, as comparison to we have other stuff that's here in stock. And that's fine. So you have the purchasing, you have the scheduling, but now's the component I think that most people don't understand the value of a contractor. So, if you're not involved in the industry, you think, oh yeah, I just make a phone call. I get 3 bids, I'm going to get 3 framing bids, and then the cheapest one, I'm going to contract that framer. They're going to go out and they're going to frame the house, and we're good to go. Now we move into phase 2, right? We start mechanicals. And unfortunately, it's not that simple. When you think about the complication of scope gaps and plan inconsistencies and making sure that everything on plan can be built and there's no plan bust, well, there's a lot of coordination going into the drawings to make sure everything's right and will work. And then checking the framers, and this is where it gets really technical. So one thing we do as a GC that separates us is we have these infield trainings with our senior construction manager, Adam. So we'll go out with the team on a project and we'll lay out. At framing, we'll check all the shear wall nailing, we'll check all the hold downs and straps, the anchor bolts, and make sure everything's done in the coordinates, the trusses, truss hangers, all these, the technical side that we're looking for. You also have fire stopping. These are things that are really important to the home and to the design and integrity of the house. And if you don't have an eye, when you're looking at the building set and plans, if you don't know what you're looking for, it's really hard to ensure that that's been done correctly. Because one thing we can assure you is that most of the subs we work with and trade partners are good. But at the same time, there's still that separation when the guys in the field, they're showing up, either they're piece rate or paid hourly, and sometimes they may not be focused on the project they're on or know the details. They're in and out. And that's why it's important to have someone on site who's managing that, who can look at the details and make sure it's done right. That way they can call the framers back on a technical level, speak their language, and get it done right. And these are really important aspects, from windows, especially hillside. Here we have a lot of retaining walls in hillside. And so when you start thinking about moisture content in the soil and compaction and over excavation, making sure that we're doing those things so that we don't have any settling or issues in the future. This is very important. You're checking this and very active. It's not something that runs itself. And I think that's where we get a bad rap as GCs, is we don't show our value and show that a project does not run self-sufficiently from front to back. This is something that we have to be actively involved every day, and not just a superintendent, but also our project coordinator and accounting and the legal side and insurance and contracting to make sure everyone is licensed, insured, and bonded. So again, when you talk bang for the buck, it's not just here's the fee to manage my project. There's a lot that goes behind from a technical aspect, and a construction knowledge and understanding.